Hey, good morning and welcome to Inside South Florida. I'm Dave Azer. Today there's a cool new garden project going down in South Florida. We'll tell you how you can plant some seeds and help it grow. Plus we'll preview a great local event to raise money for the South Florida chapter of MAD. And guys, there's a new clothing company that's going to make you look like the sharpest dressed man in town. Those stories and more as Inside South Florida starts now. Got a green thumb? Well, thumbs up, because there's a great new garden project starting here in South Florida. And here to dish the dirt is the project's president, Chad Scott. Chad, how you doing, my friend?
I'm wonderful. How are you doing?
You and I are the same height. It just looks like you're really, really tall on TV.
I should put this down a little more, maybe.
Why are you the president of the Flagler Village Community Garden and not the center for the Miami Heat? What happened?
It just wasn't a passion of mine, and gardening is just there for me. You know, my dad tried to force me to play sports when I was a kid, but I just ended up with my green thumb in the backyard.
Okay. So. All right, well, it's working out for you because you do have this garden that you guys are working on. Tell us about it.
Well, Flagler Garden, Flagler Village Community Garden, is actually an urban center for growing your own food, but also a venue for education on sustainability and all things green. So we also have a huge socialization aspect to the garden as well.
What was the inspiration behind all this?
Well, around 2010, we actually had a temporary exhibit in our neighborhood. It was the original Flagler Village Community Garden, started by someone from the DDA, just to give people exposure to this concept.
DDA?
The Downtown Development Authority.
Okay.
And they wanted to give exposure to this concept in South Florida. I myself have traveled internationally and nationally and seen these gardens, different green spaces around, and I've always wished we had something like this here. I was tempted to move away for something, and then I changed my mentality to be, well, let's create these things here in South Florida where I was born and raised and I have everything ingrained. Yeah. Let's make these things happen. So instead of Fort Lauderdale following the trends, we can actually start setting them. So really that was the inspiration for me, was seeing somebody actually actively participating in the community doing this garden. And it's really now a way so we can create this. We got this dedicated from the Lutheran Church. We actually got land dedicated to us to do this project because we have no city land in our neighborhood that's not constructed on. So once we got that blessing, then we kind of went crazy with hiring a landscape architect. We did charity events to raise the funds to do that. And that's kind of where we are today.
Did you have a vision of what this was going to look like before the project started? Is it a vision that's evolving? Are there a lot of other people that contribute, or is it just you and your green thumbs saying this is where this is going?
No, this is truly a community project. It's not my garden. It's not the landscape architects. It's not everyone who's donated money. It's really everybody's, and that's why it's evolved the way it has. It really started as raised flower beds on the ground, this temporary exhibit made out of wood in a vacant land that was owned by a developer. And now it's become this grand project that really is going to activate the entire community. And we didn't just ask ourselves, what do we think? We asked boards of other community gardens around the country. We looked at inspiration photos from around the world. We were trying to make this bigger and better than anything we've seen. And we also have a whole design process with Cadence Landscape Architects that actually included the whole community. We went on Facebook and put photos, asked for their input, and kind of went through everything that we needed to. And really, we maximized this land. You know, the Cadence took all of our ideas, every crazy idea we had that we wish we could have in a garden, down to a brick wall, down to a socialization aspect, storage, lockers, bulletin boards, and they kind of made it and fit into all this small space.
Can you give me an estimate on like how many different types of plants and wildlife and fauna is gonna be involved?
Yeah, well, we actually there's 79 plots. 10 are dedicated sheerly to education. So a school can actually sponsor one. University of Florida Agricultural Department can do a growing demonstration for 6 months. Anyone else that's interested in being that educational component can have those 10. And then the other 69 are leased to people in the community that can actually grow whatever they want. They can grow flowers for their kitchen table, they can grow herbs, vegetables, fruits, anything they desire as long as it's legal. And we have a garden agreement to spell out what people can and cannot do.
I would imagine there's one type of plant that people cannot grow.
Yes, I'm sure lots of people would love to grow it, but it's not legal here.
Right.
So we have a lot of rules that people can read about, and they're adjustable as we go on and evolve. But then so really it's going to be an eclectic mix of what people really want to grow in their space. But we also have a secret little garden trail in the back of the garden next to the socialization aspect to max. We have a huge tree in the back, which is beautiful. It's a historic ficus tree with the roots growing down, hitting the ground in different ways, and we're really going to maximize that as a socialization space and the shade, and maximize the sun exposure where that's not. So we have actually a little trail back there that's going to be native Floridian plants that flourish in the shade. So that'll be a little secret that no one will really see when they walk in, and they'll kind of be a little surprised.
I said fauna. Is it flora or fauna? I get them confused.
It's whatever you want to say.
Okay.
Right here, right now.
Because I remember flora and fauna. That's like taking me back to 6th grade.
Yeah, exactly. Biology, and exactly.
Right. Okay. April 28th, the Grow Downtown event. What's that all about?
Well, Grow Downtown, we've hosted many charity events, including Night Owl Market, which is a huge success at night and raised $5,000 for the garden. This is actually going to be our first event on the site itself to show people kind of what it could look like. It's a vacant lot, but we're going to have green market vendors. Whole Foods is actually sponsoring and selling sangria. All the proceeds of those sales will go directly to the garden. Whole Foods is going to actually write a check to us afterward. So if you're drinking sangria, you're donating to the garden. You can't beat that. We're gonna have live music with the bonfires, and we're also gonna have a lot of other little things along the way. But the biggest thing is that people can come and get a perspective and see how this could look. They can imagine, and we're gonna have different things like a living legend where they can walk around the map of the garden live and actually see what it could be.
This is a very well thought out idea, man. Well done.
Yeah,
you got a lot of different elements going on here.
Yeah, we have a lot of people that are involved in this project now, so it really helps to take the load off. There's no way that one person can do this, which is why it's really succeeded this much. And even since our last event at March 30th, we jumped up 120 fans on Facebook, and we keep growing. We're almost at 800 now. So, and this is not even built.
Okay. So the last thing is, the best way for people to learn more about this project, to get involved, would be what?
I suggest definitely liking us on Facebook. It's Facebook/Flagler Garden. And you can also email us at flaglergarden@gmail.com. That's our email address, and we all have access to that as a board. And we have a website that's actually in development. But those are the two access points right now that you can actually find out more.
And go to the event on the 28th.
And definitely go to the event on the 28th. That's where you will really be able to find out everything you need to know, and actually talk to me in person and ask any questions.
There it is.
And the other board members. So.
And talk to him in person.
Yes, and I will talk for hours about the garden, so don't worry about that.
Well, you've talked for like 8 minutes, which is perfect because we're out of time.
All right, great.
Thanks for coming in, man. Best of luck.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Chad.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Chad. And when we come back, how you can get involved in the fight against drunk driving. We'll be right back.